This is MathGuide.com, and my name is Mark Karadimos. This is the logic space where MathGuide lives. This is the home of MathGuide.com. This is what you would expect to see if you came to the website using either a tablet or personal computer. And if you were to look at this graphic or text, both of which have hyperlinks that go to the lessons section, it also has not just lessons, it has a variety of different services. Like for instance, if you go to geometry section, you could see all the lessons, quizzes, videos, and well, I have some activities. There you go. Got some activities there as well. And here if you could see three-dimensional figure surface area, you could see what the lesson looks like. This is what the personal computer would show you. Of course, you could see all this for surface area. Well, if you go to and use a cell phone, I'm actually looking at what a cell phone would look like using an emulator online. This is what a Galaxy cell phone looks like, which is an Android. And of course, the other cell phones for Apple look no different. You could see that if you put your mouse over, or in this case the cursor over that graphic, it still has the same overlay, but you can scroll down some. There you go. But anyway, you could see what it looks like. Like for instance, if I click on there, the lessons, if I go to, I think I was looking at geometry, yes, and I go down to surface area, but let's see, two-dimensional, three-dimensional, volume, let's see, this would be, yep, surface area. If you scroll down, you could see. Now it's hard to use this emulator to move right, but you would use your finger to move the page. But you could still see that this is looking fantastic. I can't grab the page to move it as if this is my finger. The point is that a cell phone is easily used for viewing it. And the good thing is that it's like a little personal television set that you have in your pocket. And with this little television set, you can get math content at any time, anywhere you have a connection to the internet. Once a teacher decides to use MathGuide as a resource for classroom instruction and learning, the question is, how do you get the material? How do you get the links? How do you get the activities, the lessons, the quiz masters? How do you get all that information to students? Well, a couple ways you could do is you could show students using a projection screen, like maybe a Promethean board, whiteboard, or some other way to project it against a wall. And maybe you can show students how it is that you're navigating through the site. Maybe if you want to use a statistics lesson, maybe you show them how it is that you get to the lesson. That's one way to do it. The lesson, the quiz, activity, or video. Okay, so you could do it by projection. Another way you could do it is by using a website called Remind.com. Just have students sign up for Remind. They basically use their cell phones to do this, and when you want to send students a link, you can send them a link directly to their cell phone, or they could even log on using their personal computer to Remind, and they could gain whatever it is that you send to them that way. So you could directly push out this information to their cell phones or laptops using Remind, and it's really a great website to use. Or you could also use one of MathGuide's services. You could use this bulletin board right here called the Help Center. What you could do is log on, which is free to log on. You just have to register with an email account. And what you could do is post things. Like I post things here where it says existing math lessons. And I have throughout the year have posted links there. Like on the 27th, I posted a whole bunch of links for vectors for my students to use. So this way, in one assignment, they could just click on these links and it takes them to those problems, and they could just start doing those problems as, let's say, review problems. So you're a teacher and now you're deciding that you're going to do some lesson planning. The first thing you might want to do is determine how are you going to launch into a topic. So you're now trying to figure out, how am I going to start a particular unit? Now the way MathGuide could be used for that is, well, here I'm going to click on lessons, I'm going to go to the college algebra section, and I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go to systems of linear equations. Now within this section of college algebra, I have all of these different things. I can click here where it just says lessons, and now I've got all of these different lessons related to systems of linear equations. So what you could do as a teacher is you could assign this as reading material. Of course, that's kind of less than dynamic, but you could assign this as, if you have self-guided learners, you could assign it to a group of students for a jigsaw activity. Let's say students already know a little something about systems of equations or problem solving. You could also go to puzzles, and over here I've got some puzzles, and the first one here is called picture math. If you click on that, here's picture math. You could even choose the level of difficulty. I'm just going to go to moderate. Here you could see that there's a little bit of math that goes into solving the systems. This is a pretty easy system because you could get the value of a group of bananas pretty easily if you think about that equation right there. And then you could show them associations between the objects and letters when you want to get more abstract. Another way to do this for MathGuide is you could go to the lessons, and I'm going back to college algebra, scrolling back down to systems of linear equations. You could click on a video, and you could have students look at a video. You could probably have them do that in advance in a flipped environment, or you could even show them the videos in class, or a piece of a video just to get their appetites whetted, and you could work from there. After a teacher has done some creative lesson planning and has executed those lessons, now it's time to assess student learning to see if they now grasp that content. And students also want feedback. They want to know, do they really understand this information or not? So you have to put them to the test. Now, a couple ways to do that is you can have students do an activity, and within these activities, like let's say I'll do this one, elimination method. The activities are some that you can have students work together. Sometimes these activities include links, like here, includes a link to one of our quiz masters. So the quiz master, of course, would automatically check it. But if they're working in teams, then students check each other, or you could even give them the answers to these problems. So that's a fairly routine way to go about assessing student ability. Of course, the more appropriate way to assess their ability would be to use these quiz masters. So let's say you wanted to see if they understand the substitution method. You could also click over here where it says substitution quiz, and here you could see that there is a quiz master, and they would have to do this problem and get this correct. If they don't get this correct and it comes up pink, you could spot that pretty easily and pretty quickly as a teacher. So it's a pretty effective way to provide feedback for both the students and the teachers. Another consideration that teachers have when building a unit is to review, and to make sure that you review the material with students. So if you were to scroll down on the home page here on MathGuide, you go to the section that says students, and here you can see a link here that says projects. If you click on that, there are a whole bunch of ideas for projects like drawing a cartoon, making some type of performance, creating a report, whether it be on a mathematician or a topic. Here you have creating a puzzle, singing a song, or even role-playing some situation. All right, so the website also discusses how to approach the phases of this project, and there's even a rubric here for scoring it. As you can see, there's a lot of different services that MathGuide offers. MathGuide's been around for over 20 years, so if you poke around on the website, I'm sure you're going to find something that you and your students can benefit from.